Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck This Place! Wow.
But then again, I fell asleep last night during Last Action Hero, so maybe it's just me.
No, I always
Yeah,
fall
yeah,
asleep
yeah.
when movies get loud.
Uh-huh.
Like, I remember, we will intro the podcast in just a second, but I watched the movie 300 in the theaters, and I was a pretty busy job at the time with a friend who had already seen it, and he was like, you got to see this movie. I was like, all right, dude. We go, and I am almost positive I fell asleep during every action sequence except for him kicking the dude into that hole, right?
Uh-huh.
When he goes like, this is Sparta or whatever. And then we left the movie, and my friend was like, just so amped, just like, oh my fucking God, what did you think? And I was like, honestly, dude, pretty boring. What was this, like West Wing? Like, all I remember was political conversation. And it was just because I fell asleep during every action sequence. So anyway, we should intro the podcast. Welcome to Fuck This Place, the podcast about jobs with Nick and Chase. My name is Chase.
My name is Nick, and with us today, another fantastic guest, stand-up comic, basically jack of all trades. You do everything, man. You're like actor, writer, director, editor, becoming a big-time editor. Now he's got a series. Yeah. Got a series he edited on YouTube called Burb Patrol. I'm on the second episode, enjoying it so far. Maybe he'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Anyways, he does it all. He's everywhere, but he's with us today. My good friend, Mr. Matt Larson. How are you doing, Matt?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, man. I like your hat.
Thank you. Can you tell what it is in the dark?
Is it the Flash?
Apparently it's Zoom. I got it because it was the Flash logo, and I was looking for like a neutral hat that I can wear. I'm not a huge fan of the Flash, but people call me whatever his real name is, and I just don't respond because I don't know.
What is the Flash's real name? I was going to say Flash Gordon. That's a different guy.
That's a different guy.
Nah, I'm thinking Palmer might be part of it. I honestly don't know.
I don't know. I'm not very smart at all with DC Comics. And now that like the rise of Marvel movies has given another type of canon to that, I'm finding that I'm considered kind of dumb in that. Now there's new lore that like writes out what I used to know. So
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen. Yeah, you're
they
right.
call you Barry Allen?
I got it a couple of times.
Yeah,
really? And I'm like, what? And they put on my hat, and I'm like, oh, right. But apparently, we're on Zoom. This is the arch nemesis of the Flash named Zoom.
Oh wow! So you're really talking to dweebs.
Yeah. I learned that from strangers on public. Yeah.
I do love a black on black logo. I feel like I've voiced this at least once.
Yeah, I don't like advertising people. So I'll take it.
A subtlety.
Kind of hit.
Yeah,
Makes me seem nerdier than I am.
Yeah.
I remember like I would used to like to go into Lids and just buy the customizable hats and not put anything on them.
Oh,
like just have a baseball cap with nothing on it. But then I started feeling like it made me look like an undercover cop or like
a kid on like a CW show.
Yeah. It was just like, I was just like, it made me feel more like I was hiding. Like it was just like I was going to, or like rob a liquor store or something. Cause there's like nothing identifiable. I was hiding my face, but still nothing that describes me.
What brands does he even support? I don't know.
Yeah.
This guy
plain black hat, plain hoodie. Yeah.
I'm glad you moved on from that phase of your life, I guess, Nick.
To no hat.
To no hat, for now.
Hanging out. And now that I got a podcast,
Matt, our first segment on every podcast is actually a segment we usually call Fuck This Place, where we decide if we would work somewhere or not. But for friends and family, we actually do an alternative segment where we look at Craigslist posts where we decide if someone who wrote the post is dumb or if the person who wrote the post is a murderer, and we call that segment Dumb or Murderer. So what we're going to do is, just like we're browsing Craigslist, I'm going to read 3 job titles of this dumb and murderer category. You're going to pick the one you for sure don't want to click on. And then we'll look at the other 2 and we'll try to suss out if this person is dumb or if they're murderer or some combo of the 2. Who knows?
Right. And oftentimes that could be the case.
It really can.
I don't know. Murderers are pretty smart. They're pretty smart people.
I mean, if they're going to get away with it, they better be.
Right. Successful.
Semi-successful.
Right.
Depends. I'm a semi-successful serial killer. Okay, so let's just read the titles and we'll get into it. So title number 1 is Male Seeks Weight/Cardio Enthusiast. Could be rather innocuous. Number 2 is Carnival Work. And number 3 is butler for a night. So which one do you for sure not want to click on? The male seeks cardio enthusiast, carnival, or butler?
I'm going to get sexually harassed at all 3 of these jobs.
Well, we don't know that yet, you know.
I'm getting strong sexual harassment vibes. What was the second, the circus one?
It was carnival work was what it was.
Carnival work. Honestly, I trust that one the most.
Okay, so that's a yes.
Yeah.
So which one of butler or the workout thing is a no?
Is a no, or and then later we find out if they're done.
Oh no, we're gonna look at these posts, but I just want for the list.
Yeah, well, which is the first one, looking for a weight trainer. Like he's not going to want a guy. That's clearly an advertisement for a female trainer.
Could be. Yeah.
So I'm not even going to waste my time.
Okay, great. So
the third one,
so
butler for a night.
Well, yeah, we'll figure out what this butler. Let's jump straight into carnival work first, and then we'll check out the butler situation. So I'm sharing my screen. You guys should be able to see this.
That's legit.
Great. So this post, again, title is carnival work. Typically what happens, the way these posts get discovered, Nick and Chase, we're in Craigslist every week.
We got a condo out there, man.
We got a condo out in Craigslist land. And whenever we find weird shit, we do a screenshot of it. So I don't actually remember where the screenshot came from, like what part of the country, because I did a bad job of screenshotting it. But, it could be anywhere, anytown USA, let's just say. It says carnival work. And
that is the most stock carnival photo I've ever seen.
I was going to say, there is a picture. Very like, looks like The Sims.
Sure.
Roller. What's that?
Like theme park creator or whatever.
What's it called?
Roller coaster tycoon.
Thank you, roller coaster tycoon.
Oh man, nice catch.
But yes, it does look like a simulator for that. But it doesn't look like a full on theme park. It's a pretty classic carnival that has obviously been stolen from the internet. I would guess.
Right. Yeah.
We got a fucking ring of fire.
Perfect photo.
Yeah, perfect. We got one of those things where like swings come out, I'm guessing one of these Gravitron,
Yeah, is that Gravitron? That's the one that it's like the spaceship that you're stuck to the wall because it's spinning so fast, Oh man.
And you can't lift your hand up or you'll slap your face.
Yeah. I just remember trying desperately to see how far I could get. And then
just see how much you can bring your elbow,
like how much you can move your body or whatever, and then eventually a voice comes over the intercom that's like, "Stay in place," and you're like, "All right, all right."
We can call that fitness guy and do like some workouts on the Gravitron.
Yeah. So again, very classic, but I will say, again, as far as picture choice goes, sort of suspiciously,
it's a suspect image, just a little too perfect of an advertisement.
That's what I mean, but it sort of has a small
like Pleasantville.
Pleasantville.
It looks like a place I'm going to get murdered.
Yeah, correct. And so the ad begins, and there's really just a couple sentences here, and it says, "Hello," not a good sign, by the way. "Hello, we are a family that travels around with a carnival." A carnival. We own and operate our own equipment and are looking for someone to work one of our games. We offer free living accommodation, and the pay is percentage based.
It's tight that they don't know the name of the carnival they travel with.
Right. Well, maybe they don't want to reveal themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't trust us either. And
if that's the case, I actually give them a little bit of respect for not trusting us, because we did click on a post that said carnival work.
I'll say I'm a little offended that carnies don't trust me. I will say that. That they're looking at me and be like, "I don't like this guy."
They kind of have their own code,
I guess. Right. I guess so. Yeah.
Their own vigilante justice.
Travel by night kind of folk.
Right. You got to speak their secret language if you're going to even respond to the ad. Gravitron to 6. I know the deal.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that means.
And and to be clear, that's the end of the post. There's no other information.
We offer free living accommodation,
which counts for something.
And we are a family. Come live with us.
Yeah.
Craigslist.
Again, you could be dumb. You could be dumb enough to think that someone would say yes to that because you're dumb enough to post it, right? Or you could be like, "We want to know where you sleep so that we can suffocate you with a plastic bag."
So we can throw you in the teacups or whatever.
Yeah, with like a cotton candy. They put stuff cotton candy in your mouth and put duct tape over it.
And just to be clear, there's no third option of they might be a legitimate carnival worker putting out a legitimate ad. That's not an option, right? They're either dumb or whatever.
I would say that they could be a legitimate carnival worker who is dumb, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Who is again like dumb enough to think like we might trust each other here, and like, okay, I'm not super familiar with carnivals, color me innocent here, but I guess that this must be true. Because I know it's true of other things where there can be a main thing where like there's state fairs or whatever. And then there's kind of like side contractors and side people that kind of follow those endeavors. So I believe that this does exist, right? In some capacity. Like I do think there are people who travel around with a carnival, but the word carnival also alarms me. Because they're not saying state fair. They're not saying a circus.
It's a traveling carnival.
They're not saying, like that they go outside of fish concerts and sell, whippets or something. Like,
there's nothing to pin them down to something
anything.
Else.
It's carnival only. And I have never, I don't think ever encountered a traveling capital C carnival, right? Like unless it's my own nightmare, right? Like I've never been like, oh look, a freestanding carnival that happened to show up.
Yeah.
This is actually disappointing because you see carnies and there's certainly a close-knit group that travel around together and live together. And I always wondered, like, how would you even get into this kind of group? It's a Craigslist ad.
Yeah, you think there's like a
disappointing.
I
thought that you'd have to.
I mean.
The initiation's actually when you just play that dart game with the balloons and you actually hit all the balloons and they're like,
It's like, you're looking for a job?
Yeah. Hey, pal. What was that, Nick?
I was going to say, like, I think that, I've never heard of a carnival that wasn't one that everyone in that city knew. Like it was like the fair comes to town August every year.
Correct.
Like it's like a staple. Like they know it. It's weird to just be so vague. Like they travel through a portal to get to the next place. Like the carnival.
That's what it feels like. It's like a giant traveling time capsule.
Yeah. And I don't know. And and also just to your point, Matt, about like not really knowing how you get started in this. Carnies to me feel like it's like how comics know comics. Like it's just like you could put out in a Craigslist article looking or a post looking for comics for your show if you are also a comic, but more than likely comics.
Yeah, it's a good question.
So how do you not know carnies from other festivals? Like how do you not know the other carnies?
Well, yeah, but how would you ever meet them? The festivals never collide, do they? Because it's like, no, we're in this city at this time.
Yeah, but just pretend this picture is even halfway emblematic of any carnival. There are multiple like game booths set up.
Yeah, there's a lot of different vendors, right?
You're going to talk to the people that do the thing with the ducks. You got to fish for the stuff, and you're going to talk to the people that do the dunking thing,
or like the rings over the bottles. Remember that one?
Exactly.
The
worst games of all time.
Like if you're, and I would say just again akin to stand-ups because comics are also carnies in their own way. Like it's like if I'm a comic and I see a show in a town that I'm in, I might go check it out for a minute. So I feel like if I'm a carny and I see the lights, I might go check it out. Yeah, I feel like you'd meet them. Yeah,
people should be dripping in other carnies.
Yeah. You should. There should be constantly people with like overalls, but only one is done coming in and out of there.
They're wearing like a red and white striped shirt.
Going on.
Yeah. Just like charred fingertips for no reason. I don't get it.
Just hopped off the train.
Constantly smiling though. Something's always
something good.
Happier than I'll ever be.
Yeah. Somehow more at peace than I'll ever be. Right.
It's like carefree, nothing to lose, man. Living off the land.
I do have one question, assuming that I'll live if I take this. And that it says compensation is percentage based. The pay is percentage based, which to me is like of what, pal?
Yeah.
Of the take from the day, the number of people that play the games, right?
I'm sure it's like how many people play your specific game.
Right. Yeah.
That's why they're always like, "Hey, come on over here. Hey, play my game.
Yeah.
I get paid by the play. Don't you understand?"
Yeah. So then that's going to be.
Oh, I guess that does make sense, huh?
Yeah,
I never put that together. That they're trying to bait you in because.
Actually, I never realized that myself either. Yeah.
It's like a
And
commission
that's
thing.
also why they don't take tickets like everything else does. You know, you go to the state fair, you buy tickets for the rides. Everything else is cash, my dude. You're selling Snickers bars that have been deep fried, like that's cash, right? Because they're just here to make the money off of you walking by. You said, Matt, you had a friend who worked in
they were roadies for Ozfest back in the day, and this keeps reminding me of them. Like the only people I've known that have worked at any kind of event like that, and they just go around and set up their little carnival, and they'd be vendors. They'd have games.
Yeah.
And my buddy lost his virginity by giving away a really top shelf prize.
Okay.
Dude, hell yeah.
So I'm sure they have a lot of fun at these carnivals.
Yeah. So it ain't all bad.
Yeah.
It ain't all bad. Yeah.
Yeah. There could be some real genuine life lessons here. I'm not sure I want to take that risk.
Same.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to someone who did.
Yeah. Yeah. We're still definitely hovering around objective carny folk culture, and we're not like there's this family here that that we're to be around. These people that are like I understand that word is supposed to be like ingratiating, like it's supposed to be like we're a family, but it makes it feel like we're a team. And we know we work with each other. We know each other. You're the new guy coming in. Like
prove yourself to us.
Yeah, and a little bit like the family. They were called the family in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was a family, but it wasn't one I want to hang out with.
Yeah, the mafia calls themselves a family.
Exactly.
But it's one that would put out an ad just like this.
Yeah, yeah. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know about The Godfather, but the fact that it's like. Okay, number one, you say family and they're all related, pretty creepy. Two, you say family and you're not related and you're using that term, also not so good. So, I mean, I think there's a chance this is real, but I'm still gonna say if you don't get murdered, the bummer is you the second you hop on this wagon, you're on somebody else's time and dime, so to speak.
24/7. You're like on call carny.
So, even if this is the best case scenario, it's a tough road.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be pretty smart about machinery to be a carny.
Well, see, again, I think we're differentiating between rides and the rest of the event, right? Because I feel like the rides are their own thing. Now, again, they say their own equipment, so maybe they mean that. And maybe you do. Yeah, they do like a little pool that's always spinning around. Maybe there's mechanical stuff you got to fix in that. I do imagine a fair amount of greasy hands,
But like, because it's like, it's a little bit like to be a carny, at least the carnies, in my nightmares, if we're talking about like that kind of like, it's like you either got to be really good with machinery or you got to be really good at grifting. Like you got to be really good at like making it seem like this basketball does fit into this hoop. Like
and
these
you got to live with that every day. I lie to people for their money.
And so it's like you have to be bringing, in one way or another, you got to be bringing a pretty strong skill set.
And I don't have that skill set, and I don't have the skill set to survive.
Yeah, be extrovert.
What job would you want in the carnival? I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess I'd have to stick with the stuffed animals. So that
I think food vending. I mean,
I think food vending might be okay.
Not that I'd have a good time, but I'm just saying that like. It's pretty like
corn dogs.
Brown
corn dogs.
Oh yeah, just so dark because you left in the oil for too long. Or you just been like dropping tobacco into the oil while you smoke. But like cotton candy, everybody knows what cotton candy is. I mean, they all know it's a ripoff or whatever, but it's just like, here it is. It's completely unsanitary. Have some.
I think with food vending at a carnival though too is it's a little bit like. Not exactly like it, but it's a little bit like beer at a concert. Like you're like, I know I'm going to pay too much for it. I'm going into this knowing that I'm going to pay like $8 for cotton candy. That's just sugar that's been turned into a cloud. Right. And so like, but like, absolutely. I think if you are working the games, you got a chance to run into some conflict because there are these people get pretty pissed off at those games.
It was in. I didn't see nothing.
Exactly.
If it was in, I lose my dinner tonight.
Sorry. So maybe even if it's a legitimate opportunity, murder just comes from the people playing your games.
Yeah.
People who really want that goldfish. when you're dropping it into those bottles, you know what I'm talking about? So you can win there's like all those bottles with the fish in them, and then you got to carry those fish around, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Fish could have a mutiny. I'm gonna say murder, maybe not murderer, but I do think murder is a high likely.
Murder for sure.
Yeah, murderly. I think. I don't know that you're going to get murdered for being here, but I have a strong feeling you're replacing the guy that was murdered here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Is kind of how I feel about it. There's no way a carnival is this big and no one there doesn't know someone that was murdered.
Sure.
There's murder going on.
Yeah.
Murder related.
Yeah.
We'll call it murder adjacent.
Okay.
Murder adjacent it is.
Post number 2 is butler for a night. No picture here, just text. And the text says, looking for someone, looking someone to provide in-home butler service for romantic dinner and evening for GF next Saturday night. Please contact if interested. Prefer male, prob younger, fit, and pleasant. Not a great list there. Okay. Would be probably from around 5 to 10 p.m. Contact for more detailed ! Thanks in advance. And then compensation says to be determined. That's
to be determined. They should have a wink after that. To be determined.
Yeah.
You can determine what type of compensation you might like, Mr. Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
so I think. Okay, let's just imagine this person is sincere. They are very dumb. Because they are inviting a full-on stranger via Craigslist who's saying yes to a butler post into their home. So maybe they are going to get murdered. You know.
If I was a young fit murderer, I'd be really excited right now.
This would be a great situation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say the same thing because they're also inviting someone who is like physically fit,
stronger than they are.
Yeah, you know. And so I think though that if they are murderers, I think it's one of those things where you're going to get poisoned. You know, and then you're going to wake up chained to a big wheel that they spin. This might still be a carny thing, but they're like spinning you, you know, throwing knives at you, like that kind of a thing. Like if these people have their date night involves torturing a male, prob younger, fit and pleasant.
prob younger. Yeah, obviously this could be a sex thing for sure. Right? I think there's no reason to ignore that. But either way, this isn't the way to do it. You know, if this is a sex thing, this is not the smart way to do this.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know precisely the smart way, but I gotta imagine that there's an app for like not full on Tinder business, but like this side Tinder businesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How would you find this butler?
How would you?
Yeah.
TaskRabbit. No, TaskRabbit.
What if they're like setting it up because like it's like a role play thing and they're gonna act like the guy's gonna be like, are you looking at the butler? Like he's gonna
that's what I'm saying. You're gonna get used
you know,
and they'll be like, what?
Yeah, what? I thought I was just, and then they're getting in like this weird like argument about it, and then he like slips you like an extra 20. He's like, all right, cool, you're good for the night. And then like
so the extra 20 said, hey, you got to kiss me real quick.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think there's better avenues to be much clearer about what's going to happen to you, the butler, right? I would guess there's somebody who would be super into that, right? And like, I'm not yucking people's yum. That's fine from people who know what's going to happen to them. But this is not a know what's going to happen to you situation.
No, and 5 hours for a romantic dinner is a long time.
Yeah, that's a pretty long dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, like, especially if you're making it, how many courses one of these courses is
11?
just Jello. You know? They're gonna be like, well, this is the Jello round.
Yeah.
Like,
this is the toothpick round to help get stuff out of your teeth.
And he asks her out for a dance and you have to just sing to them.
Yeah. And they make you sing like Cotton Eye Joe, like something weird,
but real slow.
Something not romantic.
Yeah. Acoustic Cotton Eye Joe.
If it hadn't been.
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Yeah. Everyone starts crying because you left.
Yeah, everyone starts crying. Yeah, we're crying on where did you go?
Because where am I going to go now that I'm stuck here?
Man, I wish I was carefree enough to take this job and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, in certain circumstances, could be worth a conversation, right?
Yeah, see what the follow-up is.
But
what do I have to wear?
My point is, even if you are a little bit into the freaky deaky here, I think you want the freak, again, not on Craigslist, somewhere else, right? But you want the freak flag to be a little more apparent from the beginning, right? Because it just seems to me like that more and more things are going to get sprung on you in this process. It's just my guess.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, because to Matt's point about it being, that's a long dinner, they're going to try to fill that time with random shit that you got to do.
Yeah, like even just sweeping,
Like, yeah, like I've done things outside of my, sorry, good.
Oh no, carry on.
I've done things outside of my job requirement many times, so I can only imagine.
Right. And this is the starting line. They're going to make you polish silver, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is like kind of a fun butler thing,
Yeah. They're like,
wearing only an apron, no back.
Yeah. Can you talk in an accent kind of like Frasier? Like that?
I was poking your boat with like a candelabra.
Yeah. I kind of in the same thing. Like I am curious, but I also think that these people have a very specific idea in mind of what they want from you. And me being someone that kind of uses humor as defense at times, I would be so uncomfortable that I don't think I could fit the role. I don't think I could sit there with a straight face for 5 hours.
With a slight frown, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Butler. That's what you want.
I'd be self-conscious.
I'm going to go and say, I'm going to go with dumb. I do think, I don't think these people are out to murder. And I mainly say dumb because at the end they say contact for more details, ! Things in advance, ! That rings of a certain naive sincerity.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to like awkward. Socially awkward people who don't know how to be slingers. So maybe this is their attempt.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I was going to say, maybe to that point, I was going to say, I'm thinking no on murder. I'm thinking dumb, but up to something. I will say like they don't think they're dumb. They don't they think they've hatched a real fucking scheme here, so up to something.
Yeah.
What they're doing.
There's some surprises in store.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious, but it was 8 days ago. They've already found someone.
I certainly hope so. So you
I want to see, hey, how'd it go?
Yeah, you just want to follow up. So Matt, you're saying you're going to say murder or dumb?
I'll go with dumb just to be inviting someone into your house with you and your girlfriend who's stronger than you are.
Yeah.
Expressly strong.
Right.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well,
and more attractive. The girlfriend will just leave you.
Yeah.
So murder adjacent, and I think dumb across the board.
Yeah, dumb across the board.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Wanted to remind you that you can text the podcast anytime you want.
Night or day, whenever the hell you want.
It's fine. It's the number is 470-BAD-JOBS. The actual numbers are 470-223-5627. That's the number.
So anytime you want. Like I said, middle of the night, whenever. We don't got jobs right now. Whatever's going on with you is going on with us.
I mean, absolutely. Maybe you still have a job and it's like shitty. You can tell us about that. Maybe you don't have a job and it was shitty before.
Maybe you're getting one of those weird temperature forehead checks right now.
For sure.
You want to pull out your phone and just say, you know what, fuck you guys. I'm going to text 470-BAD-JOBS.
470-223-5627 is the number. That is the number. And you can also call us if you want, but I mean, whatever. It's your choice. That's the point here.
Matt, what's the first job you ever had?
First job I ever had, I was an office assistant at a local arts nonprofit in my hometown of Vallejo. So I would do this guy was so old school. He was an artist, but he would write letters by hand and I would type them into the computer.
Oh my fucking God.
I was alive during those times.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I've heard tale, even in semi-modern times of CEOs that are, ancient that have their secretaries print every email, for instance,
Yeah.
But that shit is some next level.
He had a feather.
Pretty much.
He always licked it right before he started.
Yeah. Can you singe the ends of this for me?
So, it was a really easy job for me because I was able to type and I made labels for the gallery. It was one day a week. I'm in high school. It was actually pretty sweet. It was cool.
Yeah, and you probably didn't have to
Community
type
Arts
very
Foundation.
fast either, because he had no bearing for how fast.
No,
you
did not touch a computer.
Yeah,
just like my dad.
Yeah.
My dad's old school. He will never even turn one on.
That's great. How old did you say you were when you did it?
That was high school, so I could drive. So probably 15, 16.
Okay.
How did you find out about this situation?
Yeah.
My mother's involved in the community, and this is a community organization.
Got it.
And she's my walking, talking resume in Vallejo.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
Moms for the win.
Yeah.
So she was like, Matt, I know the oldest man in the world, and need some help.
Right. Fun fact, though, that same place that I did that first job, maybe 10 years later, was my venue for the comedy shows I used to put on there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so, cool.
Awesome. Made some inroads. You're like, I'm really putting in my time here.
Yeah. And it was named. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop right there. A lot of hometown connections.
Yeah, I'll say you were like pitching it to that guy, and he was like, "What's a microphone?"
Yeah, pretty much.
The amplification of sound. And how novel. He's from England.
Too loud. Yeah.
How long did you say you did it for?
It was like a year. About a year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your responsibilities were every day. He just had like a new letter for you to type.
Yeah. Well, once a week. But
once a week.
Oh, okay. Did he have a lot of letters though? Like he was always writing them?
Yeah, like thank you letters to people that helped out with the gallery or whatever, and I'd just sit there and wait for him to write it slowly. I'd just sit at the computer, play solitaire.
Yeah. And he's just sitting there thinking like, is this sincere enough?
Yeah.
Easy first job, but like my first real that felt like a job was the stock boy at Michael's. And I will never work at a store that has that many tiny little products.
Trinkets.
Trinkets.
Yeah, Mike. We're talking Michael's. Just to be clear, we're talking Michael's, like the craft
arts
store.
And crafts.
Fuck.
Beads and
the amount of googly eyes in there.
And glitter. Oh my goodness.
So you did like you stocked at like in the evenings or whatever, or was it?
No, during the day, but it was cool. Like they're called cap shelves, where you have the boxes on top of the aisles,
right?
For the surplus stuff.
Yep.
So I'm tall enough where I can reach those without a ladder.
Tight.
So
and especially in that store, I bet you everybody loved the fuck out of you.
They all wanted to work with me.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think I got the manager in trouble. So this was my first real job that actually had like hours to be considerate about. And it was my first summer off from going to Chico State in college, and I had to drive the truck to Chico, which was cool. So I drove all this extra stock to Chico, and I got some food on the way, and I was trying to get there and get back as quickly as possible. And then the boss was like, "Hey man," the boss who also went to Chico State, weird connection, nobody cares. He's like, you took a lunch break, right? I was like, "No, I did not." He's like, "You're supposed to take a lunch break." I was like, "Oh." I don't know.
This is my first time doing this, bro.
Right. Like I didn't take one, and I just ate in the car. He's like, "Oh, come on," and he was trying to like talk me into saying I took a lunch break, and I was so against it because I was like, "But I didn't take one." So there. I'll quit.
He couldn't just literally like add a half hour to your time and just say, "Oh, he took a lunch break at this other." You know what I mean? Like, there's no way he had the power to just change that. Right?
Well, no, like he's the manager. He has to answer to some higher ups, and this is corporate world. And after working at places like the Apple Store or whatever, I'm like, oh, I got him in trouble.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad. I do feel bad.
You want me? Did anything happen to him, or is it just he got like?
Never saw him again. But that's
really?
not because that's not because anything happened. I just left. So.
You left after that incident specifically?
No. I left shortly after. It was only 3 months. 3 months of absolute hell.
Yeah.
Well, it was all right. It was all right, I guess.
Dude, that store has got to be. I'm 5'7". I don't think I've ever been into Michael's and seen anybody taller than me. Customers, cashiers,
just all hunched over looking for their
well, it's like because there's a lot of older ladies and stuff in there, and I also feel like the like at least the cashiers, like sometimes they're like the art crowd, you know what I mean? There's just like, I'm just working at fucking Michael's while I'm in art school or whatever, and they're always short kings, or short kings, mid height, I guess, but I'm the beginning of the short kings category. I mean, I just feel like it's just exceedingly rare to see anybody my height. in a Michaels.
Interesting observation. I didn't notice.
So I just imagine you would be king of the castle. You know, you're like juggling boxes everywhere. Like, oh, what this Halloween display?
Yeah,
right. That's true. Actually, I was able to, set some displays up pretty nicely.
Oh man, I love those. Did you get to do the thing with? I love it when they set up a Christmas Village or the Halloween Village. Love the Halloween Village.
I vaguely remember setting up something for Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
it's always so spooky with that little. They have like their own little Ferris wheel. It's a little tiny. It's like, who buys this shit?
Someone cares. The kids will remember it.
Yeah. So you're just there for 3 months.
3 months. Yeah, I've had a lot of short-term jobs. I haven't had any job for longer than 2 years.
Well, I feel like in the early phase of jobs, like,
even
you don't got to stick around.
Yeah.
It's fine to sample, the goods, because most of the goods are pretty bad, right? Like, oh, I quit Michael's and went to Kroger. Like, oh, well, great, way better than, I'm just saying, I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, the only retail I did besides that was the Apple Store, which honestly was pretty fun.
Oh yeah,
believe it or not.
Yeah.
Got to do a lot of different things, and
this is not during that era.
You have to take your time with people. That era? No, this was like 6 years later.
Yeah. Every time I've walked into the Apple Store, it feels like I'm in that movie Event Horizon. Just like I feel like everyone's smart about tech, but this is still hell somehow. I feel like the people in there, the employees are all nice and pretty knowledgeable, but there's like a little Stepford wife quality to them where I see like this kind of like flash in their eye where I'm like, oh, there's something wrong.
Yeah, you can feel something
just past the eye there.
Back of their neck a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let me connect with you.
Yeah. And so like that was, I feel like I remember being in the Apple Store with you once and you having a supreme calmness. I think we were like at the Grove or something. We were doing something, we were hanging out. And I just remember being in there with you and you were just kind of like, this is going to be fine. And like, we were like, and you just kind of navigated. I must have been in the market for a new phone. I get a new phone like every 8 years.
Yeah.
And so like
every decade.
I'm sure we timed it perfectly.
Yeah. And then you were like helping with that. But I do have this memory of being in there with you and you being like a bit of an old samurai.
Yeah. I'm very confident there. And I'm such a fuddy-duddy old man. I'm like, so I used to work at an Apple Store. I can't not tell someone there. I know how it is, man.
And he's like, do you know how it is?
Do you know how it is since the update? Since the mandatory update?
But I will say that's a good, one of the other reasons to sample jobs as a youth is to understand how the thing really works on the back end. And I would say that the Apple Store is a great example of that. Like, you're going to need to go to the Apple Store the rest of your fucking life or something similar. The Geek Squad at Best Buy or whatever the fuck it is. Like, you're going to need them, So, to know a little bit about how the decisions get made on the backside of things can serve you,
Yeah, but they hire you based on your personality. Like, I didn't need to prove that I knew anything about technology.
Really?
To get that job. Yeah.
Wow.
I remember once when in the training, I was like, so how long do you work here until you kind of have an answer for everyone's question? And everyone laughed because it's like, if you don't know something, just ask another person that works there. Someone's had to deal with it once so far. All we care about is that you're a nice, friendly person.
Right. That makes sense for the brand.
Right.
That's funny you say, because like, okay, just recently I had to go to the Apple Store and
they just slapped you right across the face.
Yeah. And they just tased me as soon as I walked in. And so, because of the pandemic, like they do the temperature check, right? Yeah. Forehead. And but security guards got to do it. And the security guard was just fiddling around on his phone, just away, and just super into whatever he was watching on his phone, right? And the guy who was the Apple Store guy was supposed to let me in, and he kept being like, "Oh, Brandon." Like, he was so soft spoken and nice, trying to get the security guard to come over and check my temperature, that eventually I just go like, "Hey, Brandon," and then like. And then he looked up and he's like, "Oh, yeah. And then he came over and he was checking my temperature and he was like, "Oh, yeah, you knew my name, huh?" And I go, "Yeah, well, this guy said it like 9 times before I had to yell it at you." But it was like, but that guy, that now that you say that, it's like that guy was far too gentle. Nice guy.
That's the problem that they have there. So we used to get free swag from all these companies that would come into the store, and like there'd be little lotteries. We'd put our business cards in, and I got like a free rechargeable battery pack I can take with me wherever I go.
Oh, hell yeah.
Really awesome stuff. And people would complain because like, if you're not working that day, that means you don't get the perk. So people are like, I wasn't working that day, I'm part-time. Well, the first time he's got all the cool stuff and it's not fair. And instead of just saying, well, too fucking bad, that's part of the luck of the whole thing anyway. They just stopped letting it happen altogether and no one got anything.
Fuck.
Because the managers couldn't handle that little bitty confrontation.
Oh my God.
You want to make everyone happy. You want to keep everything fair.
It's like, bro, if you work more hours, you'll have more likelihood of that. Isn't that super good for the company? Even though that I still think it's dumb. Like the whole thing is dumb. But you know, if you're a company that wants to incentivize people to sign up for shifts, that's a great way to do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Cool shit happens to you if you're here for longer.
Right. Yeah. So anyway.
Oh man. I'd be so fucking pissed at that part-timer. Because I'd be like, you don't even fucking work as hard as me. And you took away one of my things? I'd be so fucking pissed.
It was so cool. I got all this like skull candy swag. And at least I got a taste of it before it stopped. But you know, stand up managers and be like, hey, look, shut up. You know?
And also like one of those jobs, you know, Apple Store or whatever, it's like one of those only places, especially in retail, where you feel like you have any fucking status at all. You know what I mean? It's like, if I work at the fucking Apple Store, I might as well get some kind of perk. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Man,
aside from whatever like pittance Apple doles out to me, you know.
Right.
But I want some fucking respect, man.
They say it's harder to get into the Apple Store than Harvard. Which I don't care if it's true or not. I choose to feel that it's true.
Yeah. I started and continue that rumor.
Appreciate
it.
And perpetuate.
Okay. All right, Matt. So that was your first job. What would you say is the worst job you've ever had?
I've had a lot of good jobs, actually, really interesting gigs, but probably, so this is another interesting one, but it was really tough because, so right when I moved to LA, I had a connection in Newport Beach who ran this boat service that did memorial services out on the Pacific. So they spread their ashes on the Pacific, which is really beautiful or whatever, right? And all of a sudden he was saying like, like day one, he lets me drive the boat out of the harbor. So I'm just like, you know, moving to LA to be an actor or whatever. And like, here I am driving a boat thinking I'm going to get my pilot's or captain's license.
You're like, I'm about to be marrying people out here. It's going to be tight.
Or burying, actually. So man, I'll never forget the first time I was there. So I did the first job and it was fine. Then they called me back to be a photographer. There was requested there be a photographer at this memorial service on a boat. So here I am with a camera and everyone's like in tears. And I'm just taking pictures of them, you know, and I feel really rude. And there's this woman bawling her eyes out in the corner of the room. And I go over, I'm like, yeah, this is good shit.
Yeah. You're like, give me more, baby, give me more.
Hey guys, get together on the count of three. Bawl your eyes out.
Oh man, you're never gonna see him again.
Man, and I'll never forget. So it was just, you know, it was really awkward. It was really hard. And it was the worst part though was like, when it came time to actually spread the ashes, they took this woman's mother in a box and opened the box and pulled out her mother inside this thick industrial plastic bag. Which was so irreverent. And then
that's the way they come from a crematorium. You send them to a crematorium and it always comes.
But to see the plastic bag,
it's no fun.
For him to be swinging it over his head like that.
Well, when he gently poured the ashes into the ocean, you know, when you pour something out of a bag and you kind of give it a shake to get everything out of there.
You really gotta.
And he did that with her mother's ashes, and it was like that sound. That sound was the end of her mother's existence. Like
he needed to get it all out, so he like folded up and he like blew into it like a paper bag, you know, and then like popped it.
Like a seventh grader at lunch.
Oh man!
And went like,
He had a little bit of the mom on his face.
Sorry. Your mom's getting everywhere, just like just like the old days.
So how long? So this is your first like, oh fuck, this is what we're gonna be doing. How long did you do this?
That's the thing, is like I 2 fucking days. They never called me back, and I called them a lot because I was really excited to do something cool like that. Even though I was driving from Sherman Oaks to Newport Beach, but
it's a long drive.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay.
So,
again, getting just short-lived gigs my whole life, even till this day.
Mhm.
So hopefully I'll stick around being an editor for a while. I got to choose something.
Yeah.
Do you when they told you to take pictures, what did they tell you to look for?
I didn't even ask. There was zero instruction, so I just photographed everyone.
Mm.
And man,
and everyone's sad.
Still
It's not that hard.
So sad. And like the woman who wanted me there, got her whole family together, and they tried to clean themselves up, and they tried to make a happy photo, and it was just so sad.
Yeah.
I can still see it. It's burned into my mind. And just
I mean, because again, this isn't at the reception, or like the time where everybody gets to hang out, eat Jello, and like, oh, it's so good. They're at the funeral.
The ash spilling.
This is the funeral.
That's the cry. Those are the tears part of the whole event. They probably went to dinner afterwards, but I'll never just forget that nasty, irreverent plastic crunch of her mother's existence ending.
Yeah. Then they just like throw the bag in the garbage or whatever.
Well, I thought he should at least put the bag in the water to clear out every little last ash.
Sure.
Can't throw the bag in there.
Yeah. Oh man.
There was. I feel like. I don't know if it was
Wait, they paid for that service though? Like they're like, this will be tight. Like we're all going out on a boat with mom or whatever, and then we'll get a photographer and.
Well, to get rid of ashes, you do have to have like a permit. You can't just like go anywhere, and get rid of ashes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
There's like something has to happen. So I assume that part of this is that, just as a guess, that this is taking that permitting process is taken care of by the people you contract to take the boat out, right? It's like, oh, you pay a flat fee, and now we're all good on everything, instead of, let me file this, let me file that. Now I can put it in this one place that I've applied to, and this one place that I've applied to is like a special park, and the park's like, actually, no, we already got like 500 of those this year, like whatever. It's like, it's the ocean. These people know what they're doing. Let me pay them the thing. It'll be nice-ish. She'd like being at the beach, but we still got to go further out. That's my guess. I assume they didn't explain any of this process to you.
No.
Yeah.
I did have a friend who had a lot of land, and his ashes were spread on his land.
Right. And if it's your own private property, I see it.
Even still, I don't think it's allowed. And it was into a stream. It wasn't
into a stream. Yeah, it seems super bad. Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
There's all these dead fish and animals coming up down the couple miles down the road.
Yeah, or they start looking like that guy.
They kind of look like him a little bit.
Yeah. Is that his hairline? Mike was bald.
Oh man.
So that was right after you moved to LA.
Yeah, that was like the first job I had. Pretty much like the day I came down. At the time, I just got hired to be on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And I was going to be like the cruise ship party leader's assistant, which is so not the job for me. But I was thinking, well, before I move to LA, maybe I'll go on a boat for 6 months. So lots of boat related occupations at this time of my life. Done
Wait,
before,
so you had done that?
No, I had not. That was like
considering
it was a Craigslist ad, and honestly, like the Apple Store I can trace back indirectly to Craigslist.
Yeah.
Even the Burb Patrol that I just worked on indirectly trace back. Craigslist has done a lot for me and my sex life.
Butler for a night.
Right. Still thinking about that.
Life,
Can you forward that to me?
No.
So you didn't do the cruise.
Did not do the cruise ship. Sorry if that's against the rules to bring up a job I haven't.
No. But you're saying because that's why that hole was filled with the ashes of that old lady.
Well, I'm curious.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I'm curious about. I think it'd be so fucking funny to have to go on a cruise after the only other boat experience you have is somebody.
Yeah. Now you're like in a conga line, just thinking about that old lady and her sad family.
That'd be a fun jump cut.
Yeah.
But you just said that like you felt like the funeral gig and the cheap apartment was kind of like a good sign of like, okay, well,
it was a good sign, yeah.
But it sounded to me like
you were like click. This is great. This is destiny.
Well, that's what I'm saying is it doesn't sound to me like that worked out. So what did you do right after the funeral?
Well, I spent my savings.
Yeah.
All of them with record time. Because I went to New York on a whim because I thought a girl liked me, and blew up all my credit cards.
Yeah,
and then I just spent the rest of it. But I've always been a freelance writer for some local, regional, community-based publications, and interviewing someone about how their glass shower doors are different than anyone else's. It's a pretty shitty job sometimes too.
Yeah.
But it
So
does
this is you had this as kind of like a fallback.
This has been like a freelance gig for the last 10 years. So no matter what I've been doing, last 10 years has been right. Which, you know, it's just like an assignment in college. Really, I put it off to the last minute, except I get paid for it this time, and I can't settle for a C. I got to put my all into it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I
I love saying that I write for these magazines, and I love it once the article's done, but the process is not enjoyable for me. And I always thought, how the fuck am I going to get out of these jobs? Because if they keep offering it to me and I can do it from home, it's hard to say no.
Right.
But then the pandemic hit and they all went under or are put on hold, and I might not,
because these are like industry magazines that you're saying.
Like no, small potatoes, community based. So
okay.
Like Tri-County magazines, so I'll interview big fish in small ponds, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to the boat thing, I interview all the ferry captains in the bay and get their story. So
I bet you they got some fucking stories though.
They really do. There's some very interesting people.
Because like the bay is one of the most complicated places to do boat stuff in the U.S. anyway.
There's a crazy busy maritime community there.
Boat stuff. So. That's the title of the article. Boat stuff. It happens.
Boat stuff.
Yeah.
So after this funeral situation, you ran out of savings, but also continued the freelance work as kind of like a way to help the runway go a little longer. And then you get something else. I mean,
I would do like background work a little bit. I was like professional audience member a couple times, which I'll never do again.
Yeah, boring as shit.
Yeah. I was.
Yeah, for those who don't know, tell people what a professional audience member does or doesn't do.
Yeah, you have to be level 10 excitement for every take that you've already seen. So go ahead and start the show again. Oh my goodness! If you want the experience, go to a live taping of The Price is Right. It's kind of like that. Where not only there, you have to and you won't get paid for it, but you might win them or whatever. But you got to go like ape shit crazy.
Yeah, but some of those shows, some of those talk shows, I don't know, some of them sell out or whatever. But what was that fucking show? Like The Real or something with like Sharon Osbourne or whatever, and or Real Talk or whatever. Like they don't sell enough, not quote unquote sell. They're free, but like enough people don't volunteer to come see it that they have to hire just people to come and sit and watch the show. But you, because you're the hired gun, have to be the most excited because they're paying you.
Right. You have to be engaged. You can't be on your phone.
You sit there and watch some dumb bullshit show.
Yeah.
It's tough. But no, so I just did, and I did a lot of brand ambassador work, which the only note I've ever got at a job, be it the Apple Store or be it a brand ambassador, which means somebody, like I was at the Grove giving out free pineapple juice to everybody. Free amazing pineapple juice, by the way. And just pineapple juice for everybody.
Well, pineapple juice is pretty fucking good. I mean,
pretty damn good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to be good. Underrated in the juice.
Yeah. And we got free yellow Converse shoes for the gig. There's some perks.
Oh, there you go.
And that was a good one, but but I'm not going to smile just to smile at everyone. I'm not a smiler.
Yeah. Don't get me started. Yeah. I'm the same way. Only note I've ever got. You need to smile more. Look like you're having fun, but I'm not having fun. I'm not having
cleaning
fun.
iPads.
Yeah. I'm not. It doesn't mean I'm a fucking asshole. I'm kindly talk to anyone that comes up. I'm doing my job. Don't ask me to fucking smile.
I have a dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
I'm an honest person. I'm not happy. I'm not going to pretend to be.
And because
I'm a good man, goddamn
I'm a good man.
Darlene.
Man. Yeah, but it's just like then I'm not going to do anything that you think it's going to do. It's not going to work. They're going to be creeped out by me smiling because they're going to feel how phony it is and they're going to feel uncomfortable. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do.
I have PTSD to smiling, and I just realized maybe this is why I don't smile. You guys ready for a short story? I'll make it really quick.
Ready.
Oh yeah.
But basically, I was with a girl in college. We were really close friends, but we were hooking up. And then I couldn't commit, so she found a guy, and we wanted to stay friends. And she told the guy that, she said the words, "I need him in my life," which is nothing a boyfriend wants to hear about another man.
Absolutely.
And so I was so awkward knowing that she told him this that I didn't know how to be around him. So at the same time, I was studying communications in college. And the teacher said, if ever you're in an awkward situation, just smile. So
thanks,
literally, I'd be
gun to your head.
Yeah, man.
Smile.
I'd be at a party and the two of them were there and I'd just make eye contact with him from across the room and I'd just be like,
Yeah,
smiling at him,
yeah.
like, hey, I've been there, man.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And he almost killed me.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
But we finally and shortly after that, this was in the MySpace days, dating myself, this random account came up called Pinocchio, and it showed photos of me and the girl and him talking shit about all of us, and he denied it, and it certainly wasn't me doing it, and I don't think it was her doing it, but this was so fucking weird. And it was like going on, and they were posting shit about us, personal shit, and I know it was him. Anyway.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, this is
sorry, that was a curveball. You were not prepared for that.
Yeah, stop the podcast about jobs.
I was prepared for this man to hurt you, but to
I thought he was gonna beat the shit out of you, but I wouldn't think he was gonna like. Wait, a Pinocchio account?
A Pinocchio MySpace account posted my headshot saying this is her fuck buddy Matt. I'm just like, oh god.
But you said it was also talking shit about him.
Yeah. To give the disguise that he wasn't the one behind it.
And
it wasn't talking shit about him. It was putting him up to be the victim.
Okay.
I was hoping that the talking shit would be like, oh man, and his dick's too big.
Yeah, dick too big.
Everybody hates him because
it was just so.
He's got a funny gait because his dick and his balls are so big that he can't really walk. Okay, so you think she was with this guy who's a fucking psycho? That's what he's doing.
Dude, I saw him. So like, I thought we squashed everything and we're fine. And then I saw him at a bar. And again, I was like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
And he looked at me like,
yeah, of course.
Like straight up psycho. And of course, by the way, this sounds cliche, like I made it up, but he was a UFC training sort of guy. Like he was trying to do that, and he had the crazy eyebrows to prove it. And so he stormed out, and I was like, oh, that didn't look good, And she was like gone studying abroad at the time, so she wasn't even there to try and talk him off the ledge. And I go outside with my friends, and he's across the street just yelling at me, calling me a pussy, saying this bullshit. And I've never been in a fight in my life. Still, because whenever I'd get close to it when I was a kid, I'd just cry and run away, and at that point they're going to leave you alone. You've done the damage to yourself. So anyway, my friends were like, let's go, man, what's up with this fucking asshole? And I was like, no, let's go out, let's go the other direction, and I'll tell you all about it over a drink.
You're like, let's go out the back door, because I am terrified.
Pretty much. Absolutely. And that's exactly what we did, and I told him everything that happened. And then my buddy Magic, who I think you know,
Magic.
Stepped up. He went over and talked to him on my behalf, and then he said, "All right, send him over here." So Magic came back. He said, "Hey man," he said, "he wants to talk to you." And he literally said, "Hey man, if you're cool with a guy like that, he's cool as fuck. You can't be all that bad." And it was all good. And Magic saved my fucking life.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And then you never smiled again.
Exactly. That's what. Thanks for remembering that. Never smoked.
Dang. Wow. That's
so. Since you asked for that story, which nobody did.
No, I mean, I love a MySpace romp.
Yeah. That was gnarly.
Well, Matt, we always make sure to, when we close the podcast, we make sure to ask 3 questions just so we covered everything. For the first one, for the worst job, I think we actually know, but want to make sure. So the first question is always, when were you done and how did you quit for this boat thing? Did you ever actually quit, or was it just like they never called you? I
just gave up trying to call him. There's no fun story there.
Because you were gonna have to call him. Like the setup was like you just call him to ask if there's a funeral today or something.
Right. He's like, nope, no one's dying.
And you're like, maybe I shouldn't call.
Yeah. Well, but also I feel like when they were paying me, like they didn't need me, and it was coming out of probably one of their checks. So
I got it.
Yeah. Because who needs needs funeral photos?
I was like also like the first day I was just a deckhand. So that was cool.
I'll say your boss was like looking at the pictures and he was like, you know what? This was a bad idea.
Everyone looks so sad. What's this guy saying to these people?
These pictures are gorgeous, but these people are very sad.
People are bringing me down, man.
Right. That guy's depressing. Look what he does to people.
Okay, so question number 2 is, what would you say is one good thing you took from that not so good job on your sad boat?
I got to drive a boat out of the harbor in Newport Beach, and that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful day, beautiful boat. It felt so rich everywhere.
Yeah.
And I felt, and for a moment, I considered getting a captain's license. So that's cool to know that I'm open.
Yeah, just for a minute. Yeah, there is when you get on a boat, you get it. You know, like I sit on land. I look at these fucking chumps and their fucking ass boats, and you get in a boat and you're like, I'm finally free.
Yeah.
I can live like this.
That's what I do when I'm at Echo Park and I just see those guys pedaling in the giant swans.
Yeah,
fucking
dude, those are hard. We did some down here in Long Beach.
Then you get in there though, and you're like, oh yeah, this is king. This is king.
Is that how you felt in the Swan?
Yeah. I'm just like, oh yeah, the world is my oyster. This is
I don't know, man. We did the Swans in Long Beach, and it is a workout. And we were almost stranded because
you got to hustle. I needed a break. Yeah.
Like they don't have very strong.
Well, and also you're in Long Beach Harbor, like that's a lot more open than like a man-made lake.
Well, this was actually a man-made.
There's like at a hotel or something.
Oh, okay. But you can see the harbor from there.
Okay, all right.
I don't think they'd trust you on a Swan.
I wouldn't think so either. That made me sound very dangerous. Like 4 more people have died today drowning in a Swan boat. What will we do? Keep sending them out. Nothing that can be done to prevent this tragedy. So yeah, just the boat feel. That feels good. Well, then question number 3, not related to the boat situation, is we've had a pandemic. Just about everything's been put on pause or significantly delayed. How you been doing? You clearly lost that freelance thing. How's that going for you?
Yeah, man. It's bittersweet because it's been the most transformative year of my life. Like I will always, like, pretty much I just know I'm going to think of my life as before the pandemic and after.
No way.
Because so much has changed. Like my family has changed. Long story short, my parents straight up split up after 40 years, but it's all good and everything is as it should be now. It was a long time coming.
Yeah, maybe better.
So it's like family's healthier. I'm healthier. I'm living in Long Beach with my girlfriend and it's all good. And I got the Burb Patrol coming out right now, which wouldn't have happened if the pandemic didn't happen. The producer wouldn't have had the time and the means to do it. So it worked out well for me, and it's bittersweet because I know it's been a really tough time for a lot of people.
Yeah. But you had a kind of a rearranging.
Pretty much, yeah. So I entered the pandemic as a freelance writer and aspiring comedian, and I'm exiting as a video editor.
Hell yeah.
Only.
Hell yeah.
Long Beach. Sounds cool.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of video editing experience prior to that? Or?
Yeah. I've done a number of short films. This is the first time I've done like a full-on web series. With some name talent. So it's pretty cool. I've done like actor reels and actor scenes and and I'm always trying to make it comedy though. Because as an editor, your comedic timing really
super
has an
important
effect. So and just because I'm not funny on stage doesn't mean I can't be a funny editor.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, not a lot of people who who have dealt with this know this, but you can edit something to be way fucking funnier than it is. Right?
Yeah.
Or not funnier. Like if you don't want it to be it's possible that if you have a completely dramatic scene, if you edit it a certain way, it will elicit laughter, and it doesn't mean it's going to be funny. Like people are going to talk about it as a comedy. Was that funny? By just applying a certain rhythm to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can create moments too. You can create jokes that weren't ever intended by anyone else.
Exactly. So I feel like acting, the limited amount of screen acting I have, it feels a little bit like being in a batting cage, because you can get another try, hit it like every time, but then it's like the editor that's got to go, you hit it on these 4, but this is the one. This that works. This is the one that's good.
Or this line from this one, this line from that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So pandemic's been quite a time for me.
Well, Matt, where can people find you on the internet if you'd like to be found? Where can they find this project?
If you search Mars Leg Strong, you'll find me, because there's a lot of Matt Larsons out there.
But not a lot of Mars Leg Strong.
There's only one, because who would? But you know, all these women named Venus, so few men named Mars, all these Armstrongs. Where's all the leg strongs? I still think that's very funny. But, and it's my same initials, so it works. But if anything, watch Burb Patrol on YouTube. It is streaming 10 episodes right now. If you watch anything, watch the trailer and episode 4. But it's all a pretty easy watch, I think.
Sweet. We'll put links to that in the show notes too. So if you're on YouTube, it's down in the description. If you're listening, it's in the description of the podcast.
And I could be seen in episodes 7 and 10 if you recognize
me. Maybe I'll skip ahead a little bit.
Keep an eye out.
I require to be cast as a bit part if I'm to edit your project. Just put that out there.
Nice.
Understandable. Yeah. Cost of admission. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's been
good to see you, Nick. It's been a long time.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, brother.
Nice to meet you too, Chase.
Yeah, great meeting you. And fuck this place.
Fuck this place.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you had a great time, you know what to do. Subscribe, rate the podcast, leave a review. We really appreciate it. I guess that's it. If you write a review, I'll read it. I'm going to read it right here. This is the place where I would read it, but we don't have any new ones right now. I'm not saying that people aren't leaving 5 stars, though that's happening, but if someone writes a review, then this is where I would read it. Anyway, that's it. Okay, bye for now.